Hi, guys. We're going to go ahead and have our bear hunt lab virtually. So, with this, we're going to go ahead and take you through the whole process and let you collect your data through pictures and through a video. And so, you'll see how we're going to do that. Now, this unit that we're going into is about taking a sample and hoping that the sample that you get is like the whole population. Because we don't know the whole proportion of bears of a certain type in a forest. So we're going to take a sample, and then we're going to hope that that sample is a good representation of the whole population. Now, let's kind of talk about that, because we always want to relate things to real life. So if we're talking about um, tracking wildlife, all those kinds of things in a particular area. Why do you think that that might actually be a situation in real life that we need to keep track of? So think about that for a second. Why do you think there are actually jobs that track the different amounts of animals? Okay, so we'll get back to that. Now, take a look here at let's see here. Take a look here. We have got these reports here where we've got, so here's an actual website from Missouri Department. They actually do the counting of the black bear sightings in that particular area in Missouri. Okay, so they are keeping track of that. There was a whole bunch, but if we zoom in, then we can see where those are. We can see our clusters and where these bears are located. Okay. Now, also one thing I wanted to talk to you about. Here is an example of keeping track of game in Texas. Here they're talking about the different kinds of the species of the big game that they keep track of here in Texas. Okay, and so they're talking about the migration, and of course we need to talk about the numbers. Are certain ones going to get out of whack? Because is that going to affect the circle of life and the prey and the predator, all that kind of stuff. So this was a presentation that I found on the Texas Wildlife Management site. And here they are keeping track of the various animals and their amounts for the various amounts of areas. Okay. But one thing that I found interesting here in this presentation was actually this picture. Okay. And for years, um, I was trying to get my students to consider what this picture was. And the idea is that it was maybe a helicopter going over and flying. Now, in subsequent years, I think last year or the year before, somebody said, hey, that looks like a deer blind, or I'm not sure what it is that you call it, but that those little things that the hunters sit in and then to look out and watch for the deer. Well, whatever it is, one thing I do want you to know is that there are businesses that are built on their aviation and taking care of wildlife services. For example, here's Cedar Ridge Aviation. They do predator control, cattle work, game surveys, aerial photography, and they do the pipeline patrol. So going over and doing these aerial surveys in the helicopters is one way in which some of the data is collected. Now here they were doing hogs, wild hogs, big problem here. So they're advertising that pretty well. Okay, now let's go back to this. So we talked about in that discussion some of the ways why you want to keep track of wildlife population in particular areas. So let's take a look at the first document in your Canvas. Okay, if you haven't gotten this out of your Canvas, let's see if I can go back and show you that. So in your Canvas, you would want to make sure that you've gotten in there and that you have pulled down your document. Okay, so you've gone to your module. Let me see here. I'll go to student view so you can see that. So here's student view. Let's go into your modules. And we already did the first day of school yesterday. Okay, so here is our first unit. Whether you're in regular statistics or AP statistics, we start off with our bear hunt. Okay, where we are working on checking out the comparing of the sample to the population and analyzing those characteristics. All right, so here you have the Unit 1 Day 1 lecture, and this is the document. So you want to download this document and either print it off or keep track of it. You could even do the writings on a piece of notebook paper if you need to, because you will be then uploading your data as the assignment, okay? So this is the document. This is what the document looks like that I'm going to be referencing in the slideshow. Okay, so here we go. Back to the slideshow. All right. So what we got is this. And so we're going to hope to estimate the entire population proportion of 4 different kinds of bears in the Aledo National Forest, the whole entire Aledo National Forest, the orange, green, yellow, and brown bears. And so to do this, I'm going to give each person a little cupful or a bag of regular M&Ms. And then they're going to take those, pour them out onto a paper towel, and separate out. We don't want to do the blue M&Ms or the reds, so those will be separated out. And because we're not going to count turkey and hogs, just those 4 different colors of bears. So count how many M&Ms there are that are left, and let's get that total number of bears that we are going to have in our portion of the Aledo National Forest. So take a look at this. You need to collect this data. Here we go. This first picture on the left shows the entire cup full of M&Ms. Here's this second picture of them separated by color. And then here's the third one without the turkey and the hogs. Okay? So this is the slide you're interested in, this third one here. Count how many total M&Ms there are in that. That is your portion of the Aledo National Forest that you are counting. Okay, so you may stop this video if you want to. All right. Now, the next thing that you're going to do, and I'll go back to that in a second. The next thing is find the proportion, this is a fraction, of each color compared to the total M&Ms in your sample or your portion of the Aledo National Forest you're sampling. And then we're going to turn that into a percent. So here's how it would look. Let's do the orange. So I hope you found there were 35 M&Ms here without the turkey and the hogs. Okay. So I'm going to go, let's count the oranges. So count those orange ones in that third picture there. Okay, I counted 16. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to write on this slide here, this as a proportion, okay, and then I'm going to write it as, let's see, I want to do this. So I found 16 out of 35 of my M&Ms were orange. Okay, then I'm going to go to a calculator and I'm going to divide 16 divided by 35. And I think that's 0.457. I may be wrong. I'm trying to remember that number. Something like that. But look, for simplicity, round to the nearest whole number. So that equals, the 7 makes the 6 bump up. So we're going to call that 46% of our part of the forest was orange bears. So I want you to go back and do that for green, yellow, and brown. Okay, I will turn that picture back on here and then stop the video so you can do your counting. All right, so stop your video so you can do your counting of this third picture here. All right, so now that you have done your counting of the green, yellow, and brown proportions of bears, let's collect the whole entire class data, because the next part on the worksheet is this here. What is the whole class's percentage? Well, I have past years data. So what we did was we took everybody's cup that they collected, and then they came up here and they put their percentages. They did it with the decimal. Okay. So everybody put their numbers up here. And so we got all the orange, green, yellow, and brown. And then I got that actual percentage for the whole class's orange. The actual percentage for the whole class's green. And I wrote that over here on this right-hand side. Now, when I added these, because of the way the decimal's rounded, it actually went to 101%. So I actually made this 25% instead of 26, just so I totaled up to 100% of the Aledo National Forest. So I want you to write down that the values that we had in our class data were the 25%, and then the 27%, the 27% yellow, and then 21% brown. All right. So once again, we have an unusual situation. We have the luxury of actually knowing the exact amount of the proportions of each color of bear that are in the Aledo National Forest. Okay? So our class, all of those M&Ms are all of the bears in the Aledo National Forest. All right. Now, the next thing that happens is I come around to everybody in the class and they dump their bears into my little bucket. Okay. And I'm going to go outside and we're going to do an actual outside bear hunt in the forest, also known as the grass out by the administration building. Okay. And so I'm going to take all of your in-class M&Ms, all of your in-class bears, and then I'm going to go sprinkle them out in the Aledo National Forest. Okay? So that's what's happening. That's what's next. Then we're going to do, so you can see here's the grass by the administration building. I have gone out there and I've sprinkled those bears in the grass. So you're going to do an aerial survey. With this, you probably are going to want a family member or a partner because you're going to be you're going to be flying over, and in a helicopter. If you were doing this in person, you'd be putting your hands up to your face and you'd be flying over the strip of land and you would be calling out the bears that you see. And so you would be calling out to the person behind you. And you would be saying something like orange, orange, yellow, yellow, green, 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 brown, yellow, yellow, orange, orange. And so you're going over the forest. You can't stop and hover. Go over the forest and call out to your partner or your family member, whoever's going to tally for you, okay, your bears. And so we're going to end up tallying on this sheet. You want your orange, green, yellow, and brown. And what's going to happen is in a second, I'm going to play a little video for you, and you're going to tally in this location. It might look something like this. This was a real sample of tallying what somebody called out. Okay, and then I come in here and I go, oh, I called out 12 oranges and 6 greens and 14 yellows and 1 brown, which made a total of, when I went out there, I saw 33 bears in the whole forest, okay, when I did my flyover. All right, so again, think about flying over, calling out to your friends. Somebody needs to tally because you can't watch this video and tally at the same time. Okay. Also, do not stop this video and then just like count. No, it has to be going over. That's why it's a video. Fly over. You can't see everything. You just say what you can see. All right. So here comes the video. It's kind of hard to see them. So you're going to have to get in here and look real carefully once we start seeing those pictures here. Let me see if I can get out of that there, and then there we go. Okay, here we go. Here's the flyover. Get ready. Here we go, starting to see some bears. Call them out. Got to look real close. Call them, call them. Okay, these are all the classes bears put out there. The entire classes bears were part in that strip there. You know, and there's lots to the side also, but you went along a strip of the Aledo National Forest, and that's what you saw. And so you tallied those. Here's an example. I got a tally of 12 oranges, okay, out of the 33 total that I saw. You're all going to have different sample results. Your sample's different than my sample because we saw different things. And that's sampling variability, varying from sample to sample. So you're going to go and then you're going to put in your, okay, this is what I saw here. Let's see. So I saw the 12 out of 33, and then I did that's about 36%. I rounded. Okay. And then I had 6 out of 33 green, and so on. So those are what I saw. Okay. Now, the next question on your paper says, so this is what you're putting. You know, I had seen 36%. So this is whatever you saw in your sample. And what was the other one? 18, 43. So 18%, 43. This is me. You have different numbers. Okay? You have different numbers. This is just what I saw. Now, this, look at this here. This came from the whole class. So this is what was put out there in the forest. This is the facts that we know is out there. And I want you to compare what you saw when you did your flyover to what you know is actually out there. Compare these numbers. Okay? See if there are any discrepancies. Is your sample representative of what we know to be in the population of the Aledo National Forest? And so then we will answer these questions tomorrow, okay, in class. Or the next time, or actually, I think it'll end up being notes that you take on the next day in the Canvas module, okay? So in summary then, what I want you to do, what you can do then, is you will then go back into your Canvas, okay? And you were asked, so you are asked now to do your reflection, okay? And so you can watch this little video here. You're asked to think critically. So read this question. And now that we've gone through that lab, see what you think about this, okay? And then record your 30-second to a minute or minute and a half video of your thoughts on this bear hunt lab. This is your attendance for this day in Canvas for my class, okay? And then finally, the next item is this, the assignment. It says upload your data results, which is that first, actually it is the first and second. I forgot it's on both pages in your bear hunt. So go here to submit assignment, and then you have options. I mean, you could even, you could take a picture of it and submit it. Make sure that it's not that high efficiency photo picture. You could then also, like even if it's your notebook paper where you did the tallying, take a picture of that. You could turn it into a PDF if you want and upload it. So put your data in here and then submit your assignment. Okay, so that is what you were doing for Unit 1, Day 1, Bear Hunt Lab that you had to do virtually. Okay, good luck to you.